what is branching? All right, so branching is a way for you to have variations of your project as you're working on new content. It allows for continuous parallel development, in essence. And we're talking about Git because Git is what runs behind the scenes in Central. All right, so to illustrate this, I am going to pretend to be a tree. And it's a weird tree. It's going to be a weird tree, and you'll see that as we go on. It's already weird. Think of the trunk, all right? And actually, that is a branch. It's the original branch. It's the main branch. And in the user interface, you'll see it referred to as the master branch. So my body is that master branch, and it is all of my content in my project, and it is in a state where it is just ready to be published, ready for my audience to see, okay? Now, as I am working on brand new content, and let's say that what I'm documenting is software, all right? So my company decides, hey, we already have our software out, but now we want to add these other features. We want to add feature 1 and feature 2. Okay, so I have to document these. And so what I do is I'm going to start working on feature 1. So I create a branch. So my arm comes out from my body. And also I should mention that time is moving from my feet upwards. Okay, so as time goes on, I'm going to get taller and taller and taller and taller, and which is cool because I've always wanted to be tall. And so we're going to start maybe working on this feature here in, let's say this is October. So it's October, November, December, January of the next year, February of the next year, February 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it just keeps going, time keeps going up. So at this point, I'm creating a branch, and I'm going to do this in Flare or in another third-party tool. And so I create my branch, and maybe I just call it feature 1. So this branch, I switch over to that branch, and so it's still my regular project, and it has all the stuff from the master branch. All of that stuff is there, but I'm making changes to files, and I'm adding files, and I'm deleting files. I'm doing whatever I need to do in that separate branch, which is called feature 1. I'm working away at that. Shortly after that, I create another branch, all right? And this is feature 2. That's what I call that. And so it's different stuff. And so I've got all of that stuff in this branch that I'm working on. Same thing, adding, editing files, whatever I need to do. All right, so work is going along. And I could have, more and more features, but I only have 2 arms. So give me a break. This is the first time I've played a tree since 4th grade, so bear with me. All right, so I'm working on these things, and why not just make all the changes in the one branch? Why get, to the point where I have these other branches? Well, because life doesn't always go according to plan. You're working towards this release, and you got feature 1 and feature 2 that you're documenting. But what real life is the developers will say, yeah, we thought we were going to be able to release, that feature 2 on time, but things got in the way. We did whatever happened. We can't do it. We're not going to make it. But feature 1's good. Okay. So if I had made all those changes here in my main branch, man, then I'm thinking, well, shoot, why didn't you guys tell me before? Now I've got all this mess, all this stuff that's not going to be there, and I got to figure out a way to back it out or to hide it. So what a lot of people do is they put conditions on that content, and then they just hide it, which really is a lot more work, and it's clunky, and it's not foolproof. So branching, that's why people use branching. So feature 1, feature 2, working away. All right, feature 2 is just going to hang out here until they're ready. At some point, we're ready for feature 1 to be released. So what happens is, let's say this is late March. And at that point, I merge it back into the master branch. All right, so right there. It's merging in, and I do that part as well in Flare or in a third-party tool. So now my master branch has all the stuff original that it originally had, and it has feature one stuff. Right, time's going on, we release, we publish, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Time's going on. All right, now we're ready for feature two, sometime up here in early May. That gets merged back in because we're ready to release that. So I told you it was going to be a weird looking tree. So things get merged in and you publish, and your audience sees the latest. So it allows you to work on these things without them getting all mixed in together. That's what branching is. And I highly recommend that you look into it if you're not already using it. Now, I actually have a lot more videos on source control, which includes some videos where I go deeper into branching. Now, these are Flare videos, but it's the same. It's really the same thing. The user interface will be slightly different for some of this stuff because some things you can do both in Flare and in Central. Some things you can only do in Flare. I will put links to those videos in the YouTube description. And so you can go check those out. So in the middle of this series on source control, there are 3 or 4 videos on branching. So if you want to explore more, you can do that. That is my best attempt to explain briefly what branching is all about.